Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final round of poetry presented by Simpson College. We began on Wednesday with 466 contestants in poetry, and you are about to experience the top 6 performers. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our TAB team for all their hard work this week. Please stay seated at the conclusion of the last performance for an introduction of our judging panel, as well as the 6 competitors. Without much ado, our first competitor is contestant 17382, and the title of their program is Young plus Black equals Dead.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do at this point will not really matter because your skin color has already confessed to the crime. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be given to you free of charge because he is also on our payroll. Do you understand these rights as they have been read to you? Whoa, I said don't move. How is that? Did my silence break the small mother in your chest? I was going for this closed cast kind of quiet, thought to make things more real. Like an autopsy. Cause of death, racism, time of death. Like when white America opened my auction block mouth and poured nigger down my throat and it became the only language that I knew. I see you reaching for your 9mm wallet. I see you reaching for your 38 caliber inhaler. Whoa, I said don't move. Stop breathing. You're puffing up your chest. I feel threatened. Stop resisting arrest. Is that a weapon? Lay down. No. Face down. No. Face, ground, bang, pow. Oops, I did it again. Growing up, a lifelong dream of mine was to be a police officer. But as I got older and truly understood what was happening in the world around me, it became a fear to even be in the presence of one. Do you know how it feels to be a young black man in America? To walk down the street and not know if it'll be your last? It was this way of thinking that led me to believe, does young plus black equal dead? A poetry program, including War on Black Boys by Kel Nelson and Black Boy Auditions for His Own Funeral by Gabriel Ramirez. I'm a pop star. Nah, I don't think y'all heard me right. I said I'm a pop star. No, I'm a cop star. No, when I get back to the precinct, they're gonna be calling me a rock star. Platform, I got more trophies with black names on them than BET Award winners. Platform, they're gonna throw me a parade. Platform. Because when I clap for them, they go to the grave. Black movies. Be so low budget, we could probably use the concrete instead of a crucifix. Yes, Vaughn. Haven't had a casting call. So I've been training with a cop. He told me to get against the wall. He told me to get on the ground. He told me to say my lines with his gun in my mouth. They didn't believe there could be a God in my sometimes church body. And thirsty for faith, they shot rounds and rounds and rounds at my stained glass skin. Do I look the part yet? Because I spend all day with the mortician. Black boys' cries full of deaf white ears. And black mama's tears, well, they keep graveyards grass green. And black men's bones are gavels which finalize false convictions. Wake up! It's time to declare war. Take what flowers grow for me and make a bouquet for my mother, for all the mothers who lose children and are left with shovels to bury what they thought would be the rest of their lives. Roll the credits. A round of applause for every cop that made it to the big screen. The names of the taken from us too soon, ascending into some kind of rushed and forgotten heaven. let my death be your last stake. And in this final shot, when you're burying me, make sure you get my good side. I'm tired of going to funerals and seeing babies buried in boxes bigger than the ones they used to put their toys in. I'm tired of not being able to tell my girl, let's wait until we're married because I'm nervous she's gonna see me in a box before she sees me in a tuxedo. I'm tired, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired. Because I'm forced to stay woke. And if I finally go to sleep, I might stay asleep forever. Thank you.
Our next performer, contestant 17282, with the program entitled Unmasking the Beast.
There's a villain in every story. The Wicked Witch of the West, the Wicked Witch of the Cast, the evil stepmother, a monster, a beast. What does the villain my sexuality look like? At first, he felt cozy in the new jacket. Zippered, buttoned, laced, straight-laced like his attitude. It had taken a lifetime to conceptualize the pattern. Simple but elegant. In black, with a conservative cut. Always in fashion. What does the villain look like? You know, it doesn't always have a black cape or a witch's broom or a big and scary mask. I have a villain of my own. Me? He stands in front of the mirror, confidently posed, comfortably poised, and he has trouble to find that his movement is restricted. And he is trapped in his own creation. As a 17-year-old gay black youth who hasn't been out for no more than a year, I can't help but notice the extensive self-hatred that encompasses far too much of my community. We spend so much time celebrating those that escape the closet, but fail to see those sporting the very clothes that trapped them there in the first place, their internalized homophobia. You see, from as early as adolescence, I was exposed to anti-gay views and subtle remarks that left me with no choice but to suppress any ounce of queerness. And that statement holds true after the Human Rights Campaign declared a state of emergency for the queer community just last week. But the use of the poem Straight Jacket, The Beauty and the Beast, Me and You, and a love letter to me. Unmasking the Beast. Because this program isn't simply a clever play on words, but an exhale. My exhale. After holding my breath for far too long. This is my story, our story. So no matter what your beast is, embrace your beauty. Maybe you're just another part of me that I hate so much. I have to punish you because I know I shouldn't like the way it feels, and I don't, but I keep coming back for more anyways. I know I shouldn't be addicted to this hatred. You tear me open and pull at my frayed edges so that I split apart and lose my functionality. And I let you. Then I let you thread me back together once more, hoping that one day I'll be warmer and harder to unravel, right? Tell me what you see. Rip me apart, tear me to shreds, make me a prisoner inside my own head. Tell me what I am and tell me what I'm not. You are me and I am you. And you are a part of me. Oh, but I hate you as much as I hate myself. You bring out my scars, my sadness, my fears, my aggression. You cause me so much envy and leave me with depression. You know, you taunt me with your words like this is some kind of game, a sick game, where over time you started toning down my personality. And you know, as my depression and broadened me, my sexuality dulled. And some nights my streams are stretched so taut that one small pull will undo me. What does the villain look like? One small pull will undo me. There are white seams over my arms. No, there are white seams over my arms. Stop, there are white seams over my arms. You know, you call me a work in progress. Damaged goods to be fixed, to be mended. What does the villain look like? To be fixed, to be mended, wishing you could upgrade me into something more. Something better, something more, something better, something more, something better. But you know what? You can't afford fucking replacements. Every time I fall apart, I'm left itching with apologies. But never to you. I never say sorry for hurting you. I do not apologize to you because, God, you are me and I am you, yes, and you are a part of me, but I hate you as much as I hate myself. But when it comes down to it, there's no one else to blame. The villain isn't a creature. The villain is myself. You know, it isn't some witch or demon or monster. There's a villain in every story, right? Well, then I guess I'm the beauty and the beast. And you know, how do you kill the monster when it lives inside of you? You, the way you are perfect. You with all your words stuck in your throat that you were so scared to say out loud, you will have to endure a lot of pain and gain a lot of strength, and I'm sorry. But this is your life, and you have to hold the upper hand, and I mean, you overcame your biggest fear, the villain in every story. The fear to stand up for what you want and to love yourself entirely. So what does the beauty look like? It looks a lot like me. It looks a lot like me.
Our next performer, contestant 17357, with the program entitled Decoded.
So what's poppin', y'all? What's really good? You trying to tell me you don't understand me because I'm from the hood? This is not my voice. This is a choice. My voice begins to lift, wraps up my vocal cords and presents them to you like a gift. Who controls the articulation? Because the English language is a multifaceted oration, subject to indefinite transformation. Welcome to the art of code switching. First, you must acquire your white voice. Once your white voice has been activated, remember posture. Arms to the side, head up, back straight. You must know when to use your new skill. Casually referred to as code switching, this behavioral adjustment, which has long been a strategy used by Black people to successfully navigate interracial interactions, and has large implications on their well-being, economic advancement, and even physical survival. Broadly, code switching involves the adjustment of one's style of speech, expression, behavior, and appearance in ways that will optimize the comfort of others in exchange for fair treatment. Through the poetry, Code Switching 101 by Run DSM, 3 Ways to Speak English by Jamil I. Scott, Say Less, A Lesson in Code Switching by Nia Stevens, and Freedom Over Code Switching by Kaylin Clark Owens. We hear the frustration of people forced to navigate between 2 languages and Decoded, a program for little black boys and girls who are screaming to be heard. Our voices don't need a cipher. We need to speak our truth. Lesson 1, understand that your skin color makes you intimidating. So remember to say things like, how are you, neighbor? Or whatever white people say. See, there's no Webster dictionary that can correct this. No standard English translations for the stories I have to tell. Mixing letters, making words like alchemy. See, languages are proxy for my identity. I just pop this voice in without thinking, the same way you'd pop on a life vest if you were sinking. It saves me from being too Harlem. I speak 3 tongues, 1 for each: school, home, and friends. And when I mistakenly mix them up, I feel crazy, like I'm cooking in the bathroom. Lesson 2, how to avoid police brutality. There is a strong possibility that you are 1 signal away from being the next Sandra Bland. That's why you must immediately turn into Sandra Bullock. That is what we call code switching. Remember lesson 1, keep your cool. Why does my skin color make me a target? Do I got a bullseye on my forehead or something? Too many of us have been made a martyr. This is an example of exactly what not to do. See, that's what will get you killed. So let my history flow, y'all. Deep fried jazz, hip hop, and soul. Long hair weaves, acrylics and cornrows, slavery and segregation, reconstruction and emancipation, black disassociation, white glorification. Habitually, we are told that our blackness cannot enter into white spaces without a code. Without code switching. Because without it, their minds are glitching. Lesson 3, distracting people from your ethnicity. It is obvious that you are brown, but you don't have to sound that way. Hide anything that will remind them of your roots. And I mean roots, girl. Cover that up with a good sew-in and some nice edge control, and you'll be as white as the walls. When standing up for black women, make sure you don't look like one. And when you feel like your cover has been blown, if you can no longer distract people from your ethnicity, it will be no biggie for them to redesign your day into a homicide. We've been too accommodating, too apologetic. When do I get to walk into this world and be my authentic self? Now ask yourself this question. Do you code switch? Do you do it to survive, to navigate social spaces? Do you do it to be cool, or do you do it to stay alive? This voice has roots. It's gritty, and it knows that life isn't always pretty. Well, you can't always show all your cards. Sometimes you have to put on your poker face. But this space is black, 24/7. I can't turn this on and off based on the time and place. This voice matters too. Hands up, don't shoot. Lesson 4, even if you pass this course, you may still end up being killed for being brown in America. This course teaches you how to breathe when the world has you by the throat, how to be 1 inhale before Eric Garner, how to be 1 step before Michael Brown. This voice is yours, so own it. Well, I won't go all full Harlem bird on you, but I'll let my voice fly. Breaking this ingrained habit will be difficult, but I'm gonna give it a try. So hi. So hi. This is my voice. Thank you.
Our next performer, contestant 17300, with the program entitled, You Can't Be Gay.
You are not being judged because your bones decided, maybe in a moment unplanned, to rest near my bones. Passion has no punishment except the ones we place upon our own hearts. And I was wearing my voice at just the right decibel. You never stood a chance. Besides, I understand those urges that make you question things like sexuality. And I want to know what this feels like. Regret doesn't live in my heart. It simply cannot afford the rent. And I am no test dummy. No one takes advantage of me without my permission. If your tongue is tied, my prayer is that your thoughts are not. The Trevor Project of December 2021 reported that over 1.8 million LGBTQ youth consider suicide every year, with at least one attempt every 45 seconds. That means by the end of my piece, at least 7 kids would have attempted suicide. These frightening numbers are not due to any inherent behavior in gender or sexuality, but because of the hatred and stigmatization hurled at us from society. The world has taught us to hate ourselves. It is imperative we refuse to be the revulsions hatred makes us out to be. I love myself, and I won't let anyone take that away from me. Because She Thinks She's Going to Hell by Teresa Davis, Wash Us Away by Scott Hightower, Queer Thanksgiving by Rosa Lugosi, Repugnant Translations by Nathan Siegel, and You Can't Be Gay by Sudi Kamsakil. Because we are not monsters. We are human. The Holy Bible, contemporary English version, Children's Illustrated Edition, contains the translations. It is disgusting for a man to have sex with another man, and it's disgusting for men to have sex with one another. And those who do shall be put to death, just as they deserve. You can't be gay. Your friends will diminish you uncomfortable, make the presence around you less, simply because they're not used to it. The male race will tattoo leper on the bell of your left lung, thinking you're breathing some disease, that being gay is an illness. I want you to know that I get it. You're not used to gay people. And anyone that didn't like me because I was gay was simply ignorant to the fact that black, white, gay, straight, we are all the same. You can't be gay. Complete strangers would set fire to your worth. Carve suicide into your forearms with every casual use of the words faggot, homo, gay. You. Almost every religion in the world has considered you a sin. No options for salvation, just ultimatums. Live in the falseness of your conversion or the baptism of ignorant fist. Thank you for religion, for Christianity, Islam, Scientology, Mormons, for all those who use their God's laws to hate. Thank you for praise God for AIDS banners, for gay plague. Someone consumed by hate would like to see someone else consumed by fire. There was always someone hate would like to wash away. I am sorry for those among us who do not understand. You can't be gay. Your parents have trudged through mud by the tears of their fallen dreams and the soil of a foreign land. They did not give up their hopes so you can destroy the very few they had for you. The world is not as hopeless as you make it out to be. Some may call you words, but do not let them define you. Physics calls us earthbound, but we soar beyond all expectations. Learn to accept who you see in the mirror. And one day you'll find it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be gay.
Our next performer, contestant 17470, with the program entitled Black Women Forgotten.
Before I begin, I would like to give a trigger warning for sexual assault. To the man on the bus I overheard tell a woman our poems were often too black. Too black? Oh, too full of death, too full of rape, too full of truth, too full. Well, I don't think our ancestors would consider their rape as race play and call it sexy. Like a rape poem was the most difficult thing anyone can sit through, said. If I have to listen to one more old race poem, like it was a personal insult, like a survivor asking to be heard was asking for too much. A 2020 study by the University of Chicago states that 1 out of 4 black girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18. A third of the 300,000 US girls and women reported missing in the same year were all black. Yet those cases were deemed not important or ignored. To be unseen or to be unnoticed as a black woman has become a common practice. Most of us struggle to simply be remembered. Black Women Forgotten, a program, because my black woman body deserves to be heard. My black woman body deserves a voice. Dear man on the bus, maybe we should add some humor. What do you call something that hits a black woman's heart and sweeps her off her feet? Love at first shot, or maybe a knock-knock joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? Latina Herring who? Proof that when black women goes killed in this country, it goes unnoticed. I'm sorry. I'm normally better at this funny thing. But you know, they love it when black folks make them laugh, so dear man on the bus, your mother was so sad, she cried out all her memories of you until she drowned herself. Oh, wait. That was mine. Dear man on the bus, tell them how beautiful their silence is. When I was in high school, I remember my bus driver pulling the bus to the side of the road, waiting in the silence. Want to see how fast I can run, but I can't move, so I try and disappear, because how else are black girls supposed to use their magic? But it's my heartbeat that gives me away as he touches my hair. My shoulder, my thigh tells me I'm pretty, assuming I didn't already know. I guess he was right. No one tells black girls that they are pretty. To the man on the bus who told me you are too ugly to be raped. I showed up today wearing the body I was assaulted in. I never asked to wear my trauma, only asked to take it off. You say you are tired of rape poems. I say me too. I stopped believing poems would bridge my body back into me. Dear silent black woman on the bus, you will be revitalized. Remember, they did not dig this grave for you. They are only dressing it with flowers. It says on pill bottles, do not operate heavy machinery. The irony of that is, trauma is heavy. For some nights, it would feel like their hands are reaching for you in the darkness. But when you wake up gasping for air, take this as a reminder that even though it feels like they are still here, so are you.
Our next performer, contestant 17427, with the program entitled Estraveri.
My mom holds her accent like a shotgun with two strong hands, her tongue all brass knuckle, her hips, her lips all laughter and wind clap. My daughter asked me where we are from. Where are we from? We are from a land of no apologies, of no forgiveness, of something done when you were young being held against you. We are said bedtimes and daily chores, nothing in the sink, nothing in the floor, no one at the door. We are Mexican music loud on exquisite stereos and stucco houses. We are dance and clean and dance and dance and dance. There is no telling my mom to be quiet. She don't know quiet. Her voice is one size better fit all. And you best not tell her to hush. She waited too many years for her voice to arrive to be told that it needed housekeeping. As a Latina who grew up with little to no representation of her culture in popular media, the increasing amount of Latino family stories is a welcoming change. However, while movies like Encanto and Coco are breaking barriers in representation, they all too often rely on the depiction of generational trauma, especially between mothers and daughters. This program pays homage to the good Latina moms for all that they do and aims to share a message of joy in Latino families, not misery. So through the poems, Accents by Denise Foreman, Inventories of Daughters in Borderland by Margaret Garcia, and through the poetry, Madre e Hija by Ale Ortiz, Estroveri, a program for my mom, Ana Leticia Fierro, te amo. And to all the moms who will never be silenced. My daughter asked me, who are we? Who are we? We come from a land of Latinas who label each other too white when we succeed, brown when things go down, our words imprinted on our light and dark skins. We're brown girls, but not that kind of brown. White girls, but not that kind of white. English sits in her mouth, remixed. So strawberry becomes strawberry, and cookie becomes a cookie, and keychain, chicken, and kitchen all sound the same. When I emerged from my mother's womb, that dim-lit cocoon, that space shuttle that microwaved me, a 6-pound Hot Pocket, into life, no one told me that they were turning the lights on. They put me into the arms of the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. And she put her finger in my face, and I grabbed it, as if she was my own. She was my own. All of Argentina spilling from her lips, a home she so desperately wanted me to know. Her words spill in conversation between women whose hands are all they got. Sometimes our hands are all we got, and accents remind us that we're still bomba, still plena, say huepa. And a stranger becomes an hermano, say dale. And a crowd becomes a family reunion. Her tongue cannot lay itself flat enough for the English language. It got too much hip, too much bone, too much conga, too much cuatro to two-step. Got too many piano keys in between her teeth. It got too much clave, too much hand clap, too much salsa to sit still. It'd be an anxious child wanting to make Play-Doh out of concrete. English be too neat for her kind of wonderful. She is obsessed with when, with stretching every minute of her life so her children can fit inside of them. I know family like I know her open arms. I know family like I know her voice calling me back home. Si yo pudiera nacer otra vez, elegiría ser la mamá de mi mamá. If I could be born again, I would choose to be my mother's mom. Le daría todos los besos que nadie le dio de niña. I would give her all of the kisses that no one gave her as a little girl. Le leería todos los libros que nadie le leyó. I would read her all of the books that nobody read her. Y en la noche le diría que la vida es bella en los brazos en los que te aman. And that life is beautiful in the arms of those who truly love you. My mother's tongue is a telegram from her mother. So even though her lips can barely wrap themselves around English, my mother's accent is a stubborn compass, always pointing her toward home.
At this time, I'd like to recognize our esteemed panel of judges as they complete their ballots. Our first judge was Michaela Jordan Daimler from Kickapoo High School in Missouri.
What I want to do when I grow up is I would like to be a writer. Being at the Alter School not only prepares me for my future, it also prepares me for now. The faculty here do supports my dreams, and every encounter I have with a teacher or a faculty member, they're talking to me about things that could help me improve in my learning and life goals. And it helped me be me.
The Dolores Taylor Arthur School for Young Men, now enrolling 8th through 11th grade.
Oh, these Rocky Mountains? Astounding climates that adventurous spirits find timeless, expansive, colorful, and giant. Every dawn, the sun glares into the land, first hits Pikes Peak. The Ute tribe call it Tava, mountain of the sun. With her slight hum, that morning beacon is speaking, saying, "Come, I have life, I'll give you what you're seeking." Relations, creation, inclusion, inspiration. Here, we be honoring the life of the mind, creative endeavors, new lens designed. Out of the box, we not defined. Come kid, leave grown. Come doubtful, leave believer. Come curious, leave leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you to the original spoken word poetry finals presented by the Dolores Taylor Arthur School for Young Men. We began with 242 contestants in original spoken word poetry, and you're about to experience the top 6 performers. Thanks to our TAB team, who've been working quite hard to make sure that everybody had a good experience over the last few days. At the end of the last performance, I will ask that everyone please stay seated for the introduction of the judging panel and to recognize our 6 competitors. Our first speaker, contestant 15108, with the program entitled Birds of Prey and Breadcrumb Hearts.
Let me tell you a story. One clear night, when the moon shone so black it made the stars howl like lone wolves, Hansel and Gretel ventured into the dark forest. They were alone, and they were naive. You see, they had yet to see that this world offers you no kindness, for though the old woman lured them with sickly sweets, she locked the doors behind them but children. Never fear, for in their footsteps soft with tears they left a trail of breadcrumbs, falling like ashes from their chubby child palms, hands soft. Like the 3 children killed in a Nashville school shooting 2 months ago. A projected 400 shootings to follow, like the 7 unarmed people killed by police in the first month of 2023, like Kaylee Lovelight, Latina trans woman killed right here in Phoenix, the 34th recorded trans murder of 2022 in a country that ranks 3rd in the world for trans violence, in a country lined with the bodies of American women, making up 70% of all femicide cases in the high-income world, and falling at the hands of American men, half of which think sexism is over. And I could keep citing figures and counting breadcrumbs, and we do. Orators and protesters and poets alike hearken these numbers as proof that something needs to change, and I have to ask, did they need to die for the system to be broken? Do they still need to keep on dying? Maternal fatalities up 62% in abortion-restricted states. Will this wake you up from our fairy tale cage? Since when did the dead carry more weight than the living? They wouldn't be dead if they hadn't lived in a world that saw past their skins to where their bones beat with the same stardust we breathe. And I have to ask, why? Are we obsessed with the idea that the stars we see dusting the skies may already be dead? Why? Does the finality of their light outshine their brilliance? Everyone knows supernovae are the brightest stars dying in explosions like gunshot wounds, and suddenly you care more about dead fetuses than the living, breathing children starving in the streets. Suddenly you would rather martyr another Black Death than teach about their lives in history classrooms. Suddenly you would rather have a dead child than a gay one. Suddenly you would drag another trans woman of color out of the ashes and puppeteer her into a phoenix. Force her tired feathers to fight on while her sisters, still beating hearts, pound the ground around you, and we would hang their broken bodies on a cross for exhibition, a mausoleum to prove our collective guilt, rather than ensure that the gravesite beside them remains unfilled. And I have to ask, are their deaths the only way to make you see? Why won't you still see when former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi thanked George Floyd for his sacrifice for the Black Lives Matter movement? We saw that standing on a gravesite doesn't make you any taller, only stamps the life beneath it to fit your footprint, martyr mold. Breadcrumbs feed no one, and still, like naive children, we scatter them, hoping to lead a savior to our causes, but they only bring crows to our carcasses, crows scavenging for polished pieces to place on pedestals of progress, because there is no place here for flawed humans with flawed lives, with angry deaths, only the gruesome we can glorify, the last breaths we can beautify, because this is not a path to salvation, only a phantom gravesite of our nation's travesty. Where we've been, who we've lost, their shattered stars gleaming red stripes like loose threads cut from the cloth of bleeding liberty. Is this justice? And I have to ask, because maybe we are the crows gathered in a murder of a flock, because this is murder and it won't save us now. And even now, Hansel is burning in that stove. And we are still not hearing his screams. How far is too far? Gretel is left to wander the earth, breathing life into another generation that learns to live with the weight of our world on their shoulders, learns to look down until they forget they weren't always this heavy, learns to absorb death like a new dawn. The sun rises, another baby is murdered between the four walls of learning, another life left to lie in the streets of this new normal with her brother's ashes, and the witch lives happily ever after. Because the breadcrumb trail, don't worry, no one was going to come looking anyways.
Our next speaker, contestant 15140, with the program entitled Hospitality Suite. Hospitality State.
hospitality is no myth. You can feel it in every rinky-dink pop-up county fair, every mom-and-pop shop, and every grinning pedestrian that you see on your way to work. Southern hospitality is no myth, though I have yet to feel it. You keep telling me I'll find it, but 17 years and God has yet to reveal it. Time will heal it. But it hurt nonetheless when I realized that Southern hospitality did not extend to me. You can tell me I'm a liar to give up on this make-believe fight for equality, but you don't have to prove it to me. Prove it to the kids on Freedom Summer who up in Philadelphia, Mississippi, lost a group of 3. Prove it to Fannie Lou Hamer who only wanted to vote but paid the price within her testimony. Prove it to the black man who was beheaded last year, right up in Wayne County. How's that for Southern hospitality? Southern gentlemen rest their heads each night and rise each morning with the sheets still covering their faces. And most days, I wish that they would suffocate, because they don't know what it's like to be in my place. This is how you kill a black girl's spirit. My mother first told me about the Klan on a trip out to my grandmother's house. A burnt cross protruded from the ground like a dead, vengeful lemon when she told me who erected it. And how I couldn't quite grasp it. I believed it to be some old Southern tradition, and I wasn't far past it. You see, I have Southern pride. Elvis lived just down the road from my hometown, and you can't get no sweet tea the way you get it down south. Singing through the throats of B.B. King and Sam Cooke, both rhythm and blues were born from the Mississippi River's mouth. But is this enough to drown these thoughts out? The thought that my skin is a barrier, that my voice is only as loud as the white men who decide to back me up. The thought that maybe Mississippi wasn't meant for me. Talking about some Southern hospitality. When the praises that they sing are sickeningly sweet, they tell me I'm too pretty, too smart, too passive to be black, and the South is to be passive. You hear about the riots up in Louisville, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and say that surely change is near. Talk about black power, then say that Mississippians are foolish when the biggest revolution is happening here. You see, I have Southern pride. I am proud of the 38% of Mississippi's population, a black population that's taught me what it means to have Southern hospitality, to accept reality, but to fight back with our voices and promote the black regality to mend broken hearts with love, patience, and comfort those of every nationality. Southern hospitality is no myth, though I have yet to feel the kind that you see. You'll find that you have a lot more time to be polite when somebody else's black mother is taking care of your kids. You have a lot more time to be kind when you're not crucifying somebody else's black father for failing in a system that wasn't built for him. You have a lot more space to be hospitable, because in the South, when I speak, I am small, passive, quiet, passive like the little girl who sat under a hot comb because you said it made her look more put together, passive like the little girl who sought out a college education even though you said that struggle might fit her better, passive like the little girl who listened as you changed her ain't gots to have nots, because the only way to be heard is if you talk white. I gotta talk, right? Well, I'm talking, aren't I? So listen when I tell you that Southern hospitality is no myth. Though I have yet to feel it, you keep telling me I'll find it, but 17 years and God has yet to reveal it. Time may heal it, but it hurt nonetheless when I realized that Southern hospitality was the maitre d' at a restaurant where there was no table reserved for me. But I think it's time I pulled up a seat. You can sit down too, and I'll pay the bill, serve up justice, and I'll eat until I've had my fill, and don't pick at your plate. Because change is the main course, not the only course of action, in this meal ain't served a la carte. And if you still say this ain't your taste, then baby,
God bless your heart.
Our next speaker, contestant 15059, with the program entitled The Aftermath.
Dealing with the aftermath of the bullet that done hit my homie's chest about 5 times, yet he ain't got the privilege to go quick. He stayed alive, he held on, but into a coma he slipped. While I'm over 1,000 miles out, and I don't got the money to close the distance. Look, I was sitting at my job before I heard the news. I was flipping through sales statistics, got my food handler's license renewed, bumped into some K-Dot, to the Pimp a Butterfly to be exact, because someone struck the controversy by comparing Taylor Swift to T-Pab. I was laughing with my homie over the phone, talking about our hopes and dreams. He a boxer now, and I've been a rapper, and I haven't seen him in like maybe 2 or 3 years. Time always moves slower than it seems. Confident in our abilities to make our dreams come to light. My biggest hope was to make sure that all my friends and family don't have to struggle and that they gonna be all right. Cause listen, I'm a businessman with my focus. My brother, they taught me how to hustle. My city of brotherly love always saw a rise in violence. But at least they saw something in us. I see my sister try to flip a pack. I see my brother started thugging. I see my neighbor try and rob me and take me in my winter coat. But I ain't tell not a soul. Some people say they're responsible for their actions, but I say that they're products of their home. But I made it out. Anyways, I hung up with a homie because I recognized the pile of work that needed to be attacked. I put my head down, hunched over. I started to advance the skills I had, learn about spreadsheets and all that. I'm just trying to make my folks proud, man. About 1 hour in, that's when I hear the buzz, the vibration. I see my screen bursting into life, text coming in line after line. It's my mother. It's my mother. I think, she just got off of work. I hope she's doing fine, so I'll walk over. I pick up my phone. And that's when I felt crystal drops form in my eyes. My childhood friend, Alan Baynard, was shot in the chest 5 times. The sunlight seemed to dim. Yellow hues desaturated, lifeless. I felt the air start to stale and thicken around me. I could feel the weight of each breath building as it entered and exited my lungs. I was taken back, but not in the way that I was wanting. I started shaking in my chair, stabilized my breathing so I wouldn't start sobbing, grab my pen, start jotting. I felt the shock find a home in my body. My fingers lost their tenacity. The silence was broken by my pen's body hitting the cold, gray floor. Dealing with the aftermath of the bullet that done hit my homie's chest about 5 times. Another name that starts with long live. Critical condition, he fought up right till his reservoir reduced. Another friend taken by my city, nah. Another friend taken by a killer that my city produced. You telling me that we supposed to get out of our city when our brothers toting their guns up, blood soaked in the weeds that go from the side of my concrete? Hiding under the swine snout, blowing our wishes to the wind, praying that we see another day because the only thing that we could hold on to is faith. More faith in the bullet. Can you blame me? Hues of purple and black find a place within my heart whenever violence has struck gold. Surrounded by people dealing with the aftermath of the magazine that was sold. At least it's good reading. because each bullet got a name. I'm just glad it wasn't an issue before me and my family could cancel a subscription before another round came our way. My mentors tell me that I am kind, but I feel that contrast is highlighted by the lack of basic human decency. The canvas may simply be black or white, but when you strike that canvas with crimson, the difference is in the amounts of color you see with a different backdrop, different perspective, sitting high or stooping low. That's when I learned that the tree that will grow to reach heaven must first plant its roots in hell below.
Our next speaker, contestant 15180, with the program entitled, Please Don't Say My Name.
My dad and I, we were in the car, not really paying attention to the message that sits in the back of our minds. Hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm there. Or hey, maybe you won't be anywhere at all. But that thought has far more context than you and I could ever imagine, because my dad and I, we were in the car. And when the siren sounds, are you supposed to be scared? Even if that siren is not meant for you, so then maybe you pray about who it's for. But it's not you, so you're okay. Let's see. We were in the car, and in less than 1 second, I was convinced that my entire life would turn around. In less than 1 second, I was convinced that soon one of us would be missed, so I grabbed my phone ready to record one of the 106 incidents on average to add to this month of 2023. Because of a siren that I thought was a cop, which was actually an ambulance and not meant for us in the first place. But this all happened in less than 1 second when my dad and I, we were in the car. So let me take you for a ride. I'm sure that we've all heard of the Black Lives Matter movement, featuring the Say Their Names awareness campaign. In 2023, 532 individuals have already been brutally shot dead by the police, and I know, I'm a cliche. I'm one of the only black girls you get to see in this tournament, and I get up here and tell you about how my people are constantly dying. But the narrative has become far too normal, certainly far too normal for normal words to express, so I give you art. I give you poetry. And at times, I invite you to close your eyes and listen to the rhythm of my song, and finally let the imagery do its thing. This is Please Don't Say My Name by me. My mom and I, we turn on the television. She looks back at us blinking with padded eyes, dripping with confusion, engraving the image in our minds of black bodies, black fear, and black joy being dragged away. But Mom, is that how I'll die, Mom? No. The questions I wish I could have asked her as a 3-year-old were, Mom, when will they change, Mom? How will they change, Mom? When will the people in power stop using the abuse of power every single hour as their power moves? Because when we see somebody being dragged across the street, headed for a body bag, somebody go soothe that child's mother. Somebody find out who thought it was okay to put us through the pain that no one knew would run our lives for decades. And run my life for decades. Because, see, I got anxiety. And imagine not only overthinking every single thought, question, and answer that comes to your mind, you're overthinking the thoughts about your questions to the answers to the statements that follow up. That is how my brain works. But imagine adding the fear of death on top of that. I mean, it's everybody's greatest fear. But what if I told you that my greatest fear was never death itself? It was how Olivia Carter will die and who will kill me. Because when you tell me to grab my wallet, I grab it, but you shoot. You tell me to speak, but then you take shots at my character, but then the names roll through my head. Victor White, Dante Wright, Chad Robertson, Tatiana Jefferson, Philandro Castile, Andre Hill, the fetus of Charlena Siobhan Lils. But wait, why are there so many names that I just figured out how to rhyme them? But please don't have to say my name. But it's timid that I imagine I would lay there, my lifeless body exiting itself onto the street, because you know I have always loved rubies. And now the world gets to see that color all across my body, pouring back out onto the earth. Because in less than 1 second, my dad and we were in the car. And I couldn't help but think, Olivia Carter.
Our next speaker, contestant 15074, with the program entitled I See You.
Before I begin, if you are a Black culture competitor, this poem is dedicated to you. Speech and debate does not do what it does without us. I would also like to dedicate this to the 4 Black women that have fostered my love for this activity: Ms. Ferris, Eva, Ms. Briggs, and Ms. Christie. Thank you for everything. On Saturday mornings, I grab my heels and fasten the buttons to my red Sahari suits. I tie my braids up and make sure that these kinky curled edges are now fried, dyed, and laid to the side for the speech guides and the judges. I'm a speaker, so I got to look like it. I look into the mirror one last time and envision myself in the final round. I look into the eyes that glare back and hold the weights of my black, and I see a small, timid Black girl waiting to enter her first debate class, holding the weights of the world on her shoulders. She doesn't think she has the confidence to even take half of the attention of the room, ain't smart enough, ain't never had the potential to bloom, ain't never raised gardens or found lights in all white rooms. Instead, she's always too anxious to be magic, thinking about quitting. And I see you, coach, and you tell me that I got a voice, that Black girls can learn to hold words like spears, that only true warriors can learn to face their fears. You tell me we need more Black girls like you in here. From that moment, I examine myself, and I wonder how I could fit the white words of the impromptu card to reflect my Black life. I wonder how I could flip the script to find ourselves the protagonists of the story, remind folks that our narrative ain't just on the margin, doesn't live in the endnotes, instead we front and title page. I wonder how a little Black girl could have you turn the tables and take the stage, how the problem caused solution to the worst thing in the world is to have a Black woman stand behind you and lift you up, because you don't act like just the wind beneath somebody's wings, but the air traffic controller of the whole dang show. I see you, coach. How you went up, above, and beyond mountains to search for a passion that no system or officer could take away. You make sure that this Black girl knows that she deserves to breathe. In a world where Black girls go missing or are found dead, where I'm not safe sleeping in my own home or jogging or simply existing, you remind me that I am seen. I see you. How you made a little Black girl with no ounce of confidence get the guts to walk up on this stage and scream that Black coaches matter. I see you. How you got up and told me we needed more Black kids in speech and debate, so I go ahead and I straighten up this suit. I pick up this binder one last time, I open it, and I remember the first Black piece you showed me. And I'm reminded that this black student won't be swallowed by no school to prison pipeline. Won't disappear into the books, never kept her in mind. That ain't no place dark enough to stop this black girl magic from glowing. I remember the first piece memorized. Ernestine Johnson's The Average Black Girl. Reminds me that I ain't ever finished speaking. That's right, Mr. Vice President. I ain't done speaking. That I come from a line of women who can never just be average. How Miss Shirley Chisholm reminded us that black girls can be president too. How Marie Jean reminded us that black girls can fight in revolutions too. How Ketanji Brown Jackson reminded us that black girls who do interp can one day be supreme court justices too. I see you. I remember the talks we'd have before a tournament, reminding me to stand straight, look up, and breathe. To keep going even when I forget a page. To speak for the dead black kids that will never get a chance to stand on this stage. You remind me that I am more than just a black kid with a black binder. I see you, coach. I remember the night before nationals when I called you crying, thinking I could never be good enough to make it on a stage, and you told me that this activity was never about basking in the glory of an award or trophy, never about the shine for the time we put in the journey it take me on. I see you, coach. I often ask myself how I could ever repay you. How I could give back another black child at least half of what you gave me. Thank you for being a genuine black woman. For rescuing the kid that used to fool around in fourth period debates. It reminds me that you've never played games. You've always set me straight. Thank you for believing in me. For teaching me while we duck and weave, while we fight, while we dream, and while we speak. This is for the first generation black student at a white school with a white team. You're not dumb, you're not stupid. Your voice is urgent and important and necessary, so use it. This is for the black coach that fought to ensure I wouldn't be the only black kid in this room today. You had the power to turn a classroom into a safe space. Armored us up with words and rhetoric because the moment we leave speech and debates, we still don't know what we'll be shot with. This is for the timid black girl that stood in front of Miss Ferris's classroom door. Girl, don't you know that you are everything and more? And this is for the black coach that fought to pave way in a world that feeds against black skin. Having you by my side already made me a champion. Thank you. Because in a world I would much rather want to see my hopes and dreams hang like strange fruit from a tree. You taught me how to plant my own seeds, how to sow these words of lifetime affirmations. You taught me how to speak. Many of us won't get the chance to say it, so this is me saying it for all of us. Thank you.
Our next speaker, contestant 15139, with the program entitled Chronos.
I want to really quickly, before I begin, give a very small trigger warning. My piece, though vaguely, does describe sexual abuse. If you feel that you would be uncomfortable with this subject matter, you deserve the time and the space to be able to leave. I love my older sister, but we don't really talk much. You see, my sister is obsessed with Greek mythology. She used to say that we were Poseidon and Hades, and our parents were Kronos and Rhea. Rhea, our mother. Rhea, who is clever. Rhea, who is patient. Rhea, who loves her children. And Kronos, who is destructive. My older sister and I don't really talk much, but my mother asked if the three of us could get coffee. My mother wore a pressed green shirt, I wore a starched one, and my sister wore a floral dress. Floral. Floral like spring, spring, spring. I was a child of an early spring. An unplanned pregnancy. Rhea said that I was a gift, but Kronos believed differently. I tried to talk to my sister. Small talk. Yeah, we suck at it, but my mother plays mediator. My sister a little too eager. I a little too distant. I want to talk to her, but every time I look at her, all I can hear is her screaming. Screaming, screaming, screaming. My sister screams as Kronos rips her from the ground. In between his lips, she screams, but for his forgiveness. Kronos has never been forgiving, giving. My sister is so forgiving. At one point, a waiter spilled water all over her dress, and before I could say anything, she's picking up the cup. And my mother is patiently listening to whatever excuse that the waiter is giving their patience, their forgiveness. I don't get it. I'm too bitter, and that forgiveness and patience fits on me like an ill-fitting suit. I don't have the space to be either, not after my father plucked me from the ground, his hands torn into my skin, his teeth rip into my ribs. I hear my sister say that she's talking to our dad again. Suddenly, an elephant enters the room. My mother stares at me, and I just go quiet because all I can think of is how it felt to sink down my father's tongue, my nails sliding off the thick skin. Do you know what it is like? To sink into a pool of acid in shame. Rhea, my mother's wedding ring, bobs in the liquid, and I am surrounded by the screams of my brother and of the feeling of being used and dirty. I shoot the elephant in the room. I asked her, how could she want to talk to him? After what he did to us, after how he touched us. And she said that she has to forgive him. You know, my mother says to be patient with my sister's need to forgive, that I need to be patient with her forgiveness, but remember, I am not forgiving. I am not patient. I want this to be over. I flag the waiter over because I want to get this over with. Every minute that I am in a room with her, all I can think of is the burning way the acid flows into my lungs, and suddenly I can't breathe. I burrow my nails into his skin because I have to get free. I order a chai latte with 2 shots of espresso. I like the way it burns on my tongue. The bitterness stings. It reminds me of what it's like to struggle. I found that I am well aware of what it's like to struggle through his rib cage. I force myself out. I see the skylight. I see that my mother ordered Earl Grey tea. A subtle kind of bitter. The kind of struggle that you have to wait to think of, things that are a bit more easy. My mother's always liked things a bit more easy. Maybe that's why her and my sister get along so well. I see the waiter asks my sister what she wants. She wants me to put him back together. My elder sister falls to the ground. She asks me to arrange his body parts. How could she want that? My sister wants herbal tea. She says she doesn't like coffee, doesn't like the way it burns or stings. I find it ironic because every time we're around each other, all I can remember is the burning way that the acid ate at her flesh. She kept asking me to help. She falls deeper, and I just look away. My older sister and I don't talk the rest of coffee. When the check comes, we split it 3 ways. My sister says, I love you. She's forgiving when I don't say it back. My mother says that we should do this again sometime, and she's patient when I don't take out my phone and look at my calendar. I love my sister, but we don't really talk much, and it's not because she's obsessed with Greek mythology. It's because when I look at her, all I can see is Kronos' body. And all I can feel is our Father's hands. Thank you.
If I could ask everyone to please remain seated while our judges complete their ballots so that we can announce our judges and recognize our contestants. Please remain seated for just a moment.